easy to take the information that you were teaching and then implement it kind of straight away as I went.
Hi everyone, and welcome to my conversation with Ashleigh Fish. I'm so excited to share Ashleigh's story with you and for you to hear exactly from Ashleigh her experience in my program, Pin Potential. Before we dive into some of my questions, Ashleigh, can you share a little bit about who you are, what business you have, and so that folks can understand a little bit more about you?
Yeah, so I'm Ashleigh Fish. I am a surface pattern designer and I am from New Zealand. I create patterns and designs and paintings that I mostly turn into seamless repeating patterns that I then sell on Spoonflower, on wallpaper. I license them to different companies. Also do a little bit of education in the surface pattern design industry as well.
Can I ask, how did you decide, as a creative, as somebody who does multiple different parts of your business, really, I feel like there's so many different little avenues there. How did you decide that you were sort of interested as a business owner in learning about Pinterest or using Pinterest, really?
I had looked into Pinterest a few years ago and decided that that was going to be a good option and taken a course, but it didn't really have any impact on my interest. So I kind of dismissed it and then would randomly pin my designs to Pinterest with no real strategy other than trying to get them out there. Then I saw you in Erin Kendall's membership and did your mini challenge last year or the year before and saw a little bit of a boost. So I was like, oh that's
great.
Interesting.
Amazing, from the free challenge.
Yeah, the free challenge. And then so I did it again the next year and then decided, well, maybe I'll sign up because I could just see kind of all the statistics increasing.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that you took another course and then actually did the challenge twice. And that I love that. So you did our course, didn't necessarily see much of an impact at that time. Then you did the free challenge, saw some measurable gains, did the challenge again, and then decided to join. That's beautiful. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. That's really, really cool. So that's probably when you decided, okay, maybe this is the real deal. I need help with Pinterest.
Yeah, trying to work out what to do. So I think that was it about September last year that you
opened? Yeah, it was in September.
I signed up for Pin Potential and I'm actually only about a third of the way through it.
It's funny because sometimes people say to me, I'm halfway through or I'm 40% of the way through, but I'd love to share what my experience was. I think part of it, and actually we had this conversation before on another call, was even my goal is even if you are only able to do a small amount, that it will have an impact on your results, which we'll talk about later. Did you have any hesitations before you joined the course, especially because you had bought another course, or were you sure, hesitations about Pin Potential, about, kind of taking that next step with Pinterest?
I think my main hesitation was that as a surface pattern designer, it's kind of an awkward job to get leads for. So it was kind of trying to connect the dots with how would Pinterest work. And then if I'm and people obviously use Pinterest for inspiration. So then if I'm sharing all my art on Pinterest, am I going to be attracting people that are going to essentially buy my work, or am I just going to be getting people that are going to copy and how to turn it into
which I think is something a lot of creatives I know because they say it to me, but then I also just see posts on different platforms where people are a little bit worried. Does it feel like there's more potential for your art or for people to seek out your art and just save the inspiration on Pinterest versus other platforms? You don't feel that same sort of worry about other social media platforms, or?
I think it's probably equal across.
Yeah, it's always something that's in the back of your mind.
Yeah, even if you have things on your website, there's still the chance that stuff's going to get stolen. But the same if you've got your designs on a product in a store, people can still see it in a store and copy it that way. And I think that's just sort of part of the
some of the risk
deal
of the industry.
But it has been good because some of the more popular designs get pinned lots and then that ends up reaching the right people. So I've had quite a few licensing inquiries. So before taking Pin Potential course, I didn't have any license inquiries or actually anything that was obviously coming from Pinterest.
Pinterest.
And then
Yeah.
since I took it in September, I went through and counted, there's been more than 10 licensing inquiries that have come through.
Incredible. And you've locked in some of those. The last time we talked, you had just signed on to do something with a Canadian company. And what
Yeah.
an incredible opportunity. I got off that last call and I'm like, James, did you know this? And he was like, no way, that's so cool.
Yeah, so
So
there's been
cool.
some like smaller companies that have found me there,
Yeah.
and some, like bigger companies that are on my list of people to pitch to have found me through Pinterest, which has been really
Very
exciting that
cool.
they've come to me rather than
Yeah.
me
What an
having to go to
opportunity
them.
and like a dream come true,
Yeah,
right? I
really cool.
wonder, like for you, it's interesting because it's sort of like you had tried some things, and then once you were able to implement even a third of a strategy, you were able to see sort of a shift. I just want to mention, because you said something, and I think other artists and other illustrators or creatives that sell on Spoonflower or any third party website, I want to be explicit in this that there's something sort of unique, in particular to surface pattern designers, but other creatives who might be selling via a third party website. So it can be quite like, should I use, and people will even say this about Etsy, like, should I use Pinterest if I have an Etsy shop because, I'm pinning, then my products are hosted on another website. And, I know that you and I have talked about this, or we've talked about it in different instances in the course. But when you are selling via a third party, you can still track it. You just can't track it to the same, we don't have as much accuracy because once they head to Etsy or they head to Spoonflower and make that purchase, then the conversions are happening there. Do you think that it's also helped with any exposure on your Spoonflower? Because obviously getting the licensing inquiries is amazing, and like I'm sure there's lots of people who might watch this, and it's like so dreamy in such a short period of time. Have you
Yeah.
noticed that there seems to be more traffic going to your Spoonflower links as well, or not as much?
My Spoonflower has increased, but I don't, like, if I'm just speaking honestly, I don't know
Yeah.
whether that's because of
Hmm.
the pins or because of being in the Power Sellers
Yeah, of
Academy,
course, and I
where
know that. Yeah,
I've been working with
you've
lots of
improved the
stuff
whole
on there.
thing, right? And it's all connected, right? Like I would never. It's more just like,
Yeah.
have you noticed that your Spoonflower shop is doing better, or it's at least. Do you get access that not where traffic comes from, but that do you get access to your shop like traffic, like that you have 10 people or 100 people or no?
No, there's no
Oh, that's
analytics
so
for Spoonflower, so it
disappointing.
makes it quite hard to tell.
And
And the
because they
pins,
have internal search as well, right? And I know
yeah,
Erin teaches that, right? Like how you set up your listings, etc.
yeah, it's really difficult to tell where any traffic's coming from for
Yeah, it's just too
Spoonflower.
bad. I hope they implement that for you because it would
Yeah,
allow you to sort of better understand that ROI of what you're investing in your store, in your Instagram, your other marketing efforts to really see where you're getting the best return. Now, jumping back to Pin Potential, was there anything that helped you decide to jump in? Like you did the challenge, so maybe that helped you. Was there anything else that kind of like helped you be like, yeah, I'm going to do this?
I originally took it thinking that I was going to grow my Spoonflower. That was why
Yeah.
because Spoonflower can be like a little bit tricky to market, and I thought that's going to be great because
Yeah.
I'm going to be able to push traffic there. But then that was kind of why, and I thought, well, I'll do it because the on Spoonflower you're not likely to get like you're kicked out of your account and stuff like you are on
Mhm.
Etsy. So I thought that would be good to be able to pin straight to there, and then that's kind of I can make Spoonflower designs and then market them through Pinterest, and they have like a
Mhm.
longer time because yeah, Spoonflower sort of you can sell things from like years and years ago. It doesn't need to
Yeah.
be stuff that's like super current all the time. So that was why I just decided that that was going to be good
Pairs
for
really well then. Like you wouldn't have dead links like other people, like on other platforms where something doesn't have that longevity or if it sells out because
yeah.
it's on demand. That's really cool. I never thought about it from that perspective before about why it's so complementary. In terms of the time investment, the financial investment, or any other, if someone's unsure about signing up, we already said like you've done a third of the course and already seen some benefit to your own business. But if somebody was unsure, I guess like that, like so even you, like you have a lot going on. We were joking about that we both have kid things to do once we hop off of this call. You're
Yeah.
running your own business. You're launching new amazing things. So even with a little bit of time, you were able to get some great results.
Yeah, and I think like anything, it's not a cheap course, but as well
Hmm.
worth the money. And a lot of the stuff that you teach is really interesting for like other parts of my business as well, like
Mm.
how people like they solve what they search.
Solve
I
what
think
they
it's this.
search.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was really helpful because that makes you think about your ICA and that kind of thing for Pinterest, but then you're also thinking about it for other areas or how you would be
Yeah.
talking about funnels and things like that. It kind of applies to more than just Pinterest. And I
Yeah.
think I managed to make my money back with just one of the licensing inquiries that I got
Incredible.
like
Yeah.
quite early on. So yeah, I think
I
it's
love
an
that.
investment in yourself, and it's all very well organized in Pin
Mm.
Potential. There's so much information in there.
Hmm.
But I haven't actually gone through all of it,
I
obviously, but
appreciate
yeah,
it. Well,
a
when you
lot of
have the
information
time,
and
it's
all of
there for
your
you. It's lifetime access, right? It's not going anywhere. What do you
yeah.
think was your favorite part of the course that you've done so far? Like, what part do you sort of like you resonated with you, or you really enjoyed, or a particular tool or resource?
I think I've got two. I think
Hmm.
the ICA work that you have kind of at the
Mm.
start
Hmm.
and coming in with that mindset, I think because before I was just sort of pinning randomly, but then I think all of that work with how you're thinking of what your customer's going to be, searching
Hmm.
from what your customer wants
Hmm.
helped, and then also the AI description tools, because I think
Hmm.
for me posting pretty patterns and stuff is the easy part,
Yeah.
but then
Well, you're a
having to
designer,
write
of course.
all of
Like
the
you're, yeah.
descriptions would take forever. I kind of feel like people don't really read the descriptions that much on Pinterest.
No.
Like I know I don't. I just pin the
Yeah, we just look at
pretty
the
pins,
picture. Yeah.
but then it's so important for search. And so I think having the AI description writers and things
Yeah.
like that are really helpful because you can kind of plug in some information about your collection or that design, and it then yeah writes it for
Optimizes
you.
everything. It's funny because I think some people expect me like that. They'll say, well, I haven't done any of the course, but I'm using the AI assistants and getting like incredible results. I'm sorry. And I'm like, no, don't apologize. That's actually like was the plan with them that I just know, like even myself, I've bought courses, I've bought products. I don't have the time or I don't have the patience to watch it or I just haven't been able to make the time for it yet, right? But I'm
Yeah.
going to. So even if there's like a template I can use or an assistant to kind of just help me get moving, like I'm happy for that. I would never make anyone feel bad about that. So let's talk about some results. So you've had licensing, you've got a licensing inquiries. You've also, which is so amazing that you've been able to secure some of those deals. Anything else? Do you feel like, like your Pinterest account in general, do you feel like it's better set up? Do you feel more confident or comfortable with Pinterest?
I feel like it's less stressful because I
Oh,
know
good.
what I'm doing with it now. And interestingly, some of this stuff is a little bit different to what you've said, but kind of the same as what you've said, and that lean into what's working for you. I've used some of your templates to put pins together, and then I've also done
Good.
some that adjust the plain patterns. And I think because of how patterns work, having just the pattern is what gets
Hmm.
saved more. So even though I
Yeah.
came in thinking I was going to kind of drive traffic towards Spoonflower, maybe because
Yeah.
it's harder to track, but it is easier to notice if people are finding me on Pinterest and then inquiring about licensing, then I've started leaning into that side
Yeah,
of
why
things
not, right?
more,
What
which
a
is
great
good. And
opportunity. Well, and
yeah,
I feel like you probably, the more inquiries you get, the more choice you have, the more power you have, the more comfortable you get, probably because there's a negotiation process with that, which is
yeah,
wonderful. And sometimes, like for creatives, it's like, you have the skill, you have the art, you have the beautiful things. It's just like helping the right person find it, which is really exciting.
find it working out like what words I'm going to use to describe the
Yeah.
designs so that other people can find them. And I think that's what's been really helpful is changing the way that I do my descriptions has
Yeah.
made my designs more easy to be found by the right people.
Yeah. And hopefully for years to come, right? Like this is just the beginning for you.
Changing the my board descriptions and things as
Mm.
well. You know how you talk about getting categorized as a
Hmm.
certain
Hmm.
I cannot remember
Yeah.
all the
Interest
words I'm
tags.
using. Yes, I think I've changed some of the boards and stuff like that, and then that means that some of my older pins from maybe like 3 or 4 years ago
Yeah.
are now starting to
Oh,
check
good.
out as well,
That's
which is
great.
interesting. And I
Which is really
think it is just
nice.
the way, mostly the way that it's
Yeah,
categorized.
that gets the content re-indexed properly, and then
Yes,
if
yeah.
it will start being shown, which is so amazing. Who would you recommend it to? Who do you think it's well suited for, or that they would benefit from it? And then, sort of, what was your overall experience?
I would recommend it to anybody that wants to drive traffic to wherever they're wanting to drive traffic to.
Yeah,
Their
well, look at
website.
you. You started with Spoonflower, and then it turned to more your website for the inquiries, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I'd say people that want to drive traffic to something like their website, as an example. Website's good because then it's easier to track if people are
Yeah.
coming through. So I think if you're a surface pattern designer like me and you're wanting to drive traffic to Spoonflower or to your portfolio, then
Mhm.
Pinterest is perfect for that.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Ash. How would you describe your overall experience?
I really liked it. I found a lot of the information really, really thorough and really well explained. So even though I'm not like a super numbersy business kind of person, I could still understand it, which was really
Yeah,
good.
good.
And then all of the tools that went with it made everything a bit faster, so it was easy to take the information that you were teaching and then
Yeah.
implement it kind of straight away as I went.
Fantastic. Well, I appreciate that. And I'm sure other illustrators and creatives and designers will appreciate hearing your story. If people are interested in learning about the work you do, where's the best place for people to find you?
I think on my website would be the easiest, which is ashleighfish.com. I've got lots of artist resources there, and you can see lots of my designs, and you can also see how I've linked it through to Pinterest as well, if anyone wants to see
Yeah.
it.
Or if you are interested in licensing Ashleigh's
Yeah, or
art,
interested in
you can
licensing.
reach out to her via her contact page and
Yeah.
said that you see and say that you found her in this interview, but you also looked at her Pinterest account. Well, thank you. I really appreciate you sharing your story, and I just can't wait to have other people sort of discover the magic that Pinterest can be, even if it's unexpected or it takes a twist and a turn. It ends up being that something else is more fruitful. I hope that you continue to get more licensing inquiries and more sales on your Spoonflower shop. Thanks, Ashley.
Thank you so much.